Yes, welcome back to another episode of the Say Less debrief. That's right, a debrief of all of the action from last weekend. Now, not a single upset. It's getting to the business end of the season, and the teams that are fighting for a spot are going to be fighting tooth and nail to get into that eight, to get into that top four, maybe to secure the minor premiership. The bottom teams, I mean, you've got to think that some of the players, maybe they're only contracted till next season, or maybe they've only got a contract to the end of this season. Some of those fringe players, maybe not going to they already know they're not going to make the eight. They're not going to try and kill themselves and injure themselves. So they maybe are out injured for the preseason or even the start of next season. They can't make the finals. Maybe they're not you know, trying to absolutely kill themselves in a tackle because they can't make finals anyway. I can just notice it now. So with a few of the players, I think the last few rounds, I think we're going to see very, very little upsets. Um, just my take. I just think if I'm a player in a team that's a fringe player, that's wanting to play next season on sort of a $100,000 to $200,000 contract. I think the minimum is like 120 now. Yeah, I'm not gonna go out there and kill myself as long as I feel a bit secure in my position in the team. You never want to get injuries and lose your place. Yeah, that's just what I think is going on at the moment. Going to run through the games from the weekend, and I did actually happen to watch a full game of NRLW, the Cowboys versus Tigers. Tigers very unlucky. Got a lot of talent in that team, or in both teams, to be honest. And I think I found my new favorite player in the NRLW. The hooker for the Tigers, I think it's Ebony Boyle. I might have to double check that. But yeah, just really, really good delivery from dummy half. And the Tigers look a lot better with her on the field. Plays 40 minutes. Had another player come on. Can't remember her name, unfortunately. But yeah, the Tigers just look a little bit better with their starting hooker. I'm going to try and take in at least one NRLW game a week, maybe even more. I think it's really starting to come along. Everyone's jumped on the Matildas bandwagon lately, and I think people should really need to start paying attention to NRLW. I think it's the product's looking really, really good. The skill set the girls have really, really improved this season. The expansion of the teams is amazing, and just a lot of them oh, someone like Millie Boyle, just speaks so well about the game. Is really switched on. Catch little bits and pieces of a podcast with Isabel Kelly on just the little bits and pieces on TikTok and just some of the questions that are asked about how they improve the game and just how sharp and just her response to them and just saying like maybe an NRLW make the ball a little bit smaller. Absolute genius. Like the girls have smaller hands. Like that would improve their skill set immensely. You would see their fast wingers running down the sideline with the ball in one hand, a little bit like Joey Manu, something like that. But anyway, awesome stuff to talk about. But yeah, let's unpack the games of the weekend. As I said, zero upsets. Yeah, first game all the way back on Thursday. Panthers over the Seagulls. Seagulls look competitive till about half time, and then yeah, the Panthers just went into cruise control. That's the Seagulls. Season over now. They're just going to I think they're going to experiment with the last couple of games this season. So yeah, it'll take a small miracle for the Seagulls. Mathematically, they still can, but they won't make the eight. Panthers still vying for that minor premiership. I don't think they've already had a couple. I don't think they're that worried about it. If Broncos get it over them, that I don't think they're going to be worried. But I just can't see them losing any games going into finals. Um, not really much to take away from that. The usual suspects are just really, really good. Excited to see what Seagulls do and how Josh Schuster plays in the second row in the coming week. On to the Sharks Titans. Yeah, Sharks. I don't know what's happened over the last couple of weeks. They've found their form, and they needed to. Just at the right time, they started slipping. Look like they're going to go out of the eight. They look like what Brisbane did last year, but Braden Trindle coming into the team has taken a lot of pressure off Nico Hines, and I think that he complements his game a little bit better. And he's just very, very skillful. There was talk early in the season about him, the Tigers maybe looking at him. Geez, they probably should have, but I think you're going to see Trindle as a long-term 5'8" in the Sharks team. I think Moreland's probably going to get shopped around. Titans, look, they got Tino back, but still without AJ. Although Jaden Campbell's been just absolutely fantastic, just outclassed really. 36-6, just yeah, just nothing was sticking. Like they weren't holding onto the ball. I mean, once again, like I said at the start of the podcast, teams that can't make the finals anymore. Like, why are you going to kill yourself when you can't even make the finals? You might as well keep yourself fit and healthy, enjoy the off season, and rip into preseason come the 1st of November. You're going to hear me say a lot in the next in the rest of the podcast and probably the next few weeks. On to the late game on Friday, Broncos versus Eels. I smell an upset here, but I still tip the Broncos. Yeah, it just wow. The Are the Eels going to make the eight? It's on a knife's edge there. Broncos just absolutely fantastic. Just too good for the Eels. Gutho always trying. They've lost Mitch Moses with a facial fracture. I think it's a cheekbone. Yeah, that might have put the nail in the coffin for the Eels. Maybe that sort of puts them around about ninth or 10th. Without Moses, it's going to be a massive uphill battle. You've surely got to put someone like Hayes Dunster at fullback and Gutho into 5'8" if the Eels have any chance to qualify. Just so much skill on show. Reynolds absolutely fantastic again. Just some great tries. Billy Walters absolutely underrated. Just two tries. The one that he sort of dummied and went from hooker, just stepped inside over the line. Absolutely fantastic. Herbie was great. Ezra, Brees Walsh, like the forwards, Haas, Carrigan, just a complete performance from the Broncos. When they usually play the Eels, it's always the Eels just seem to be the slippery team for the Broncos, but not now. Like you got to think of the Broncos was like I've been waiting for them to slip up all season, and I just don't think they are. I think they are the complete package, and I mean I think you're crazy to tip against it not being a Penrith Broncos final. Let's move on to Saturday now. Rabbitohs versus Dragons. Yeah, once again, Rabbitohs just too strong. They're kind of like I mean they did lose to Sharks last week, but this is the Rabbitohs more like it. There's a long way to go for them, and they should be able to pull their socks up and scrape into the eight. But so you look at Rabbitohs mid-season, and like when the Rabbitohs are on, they're unbeatable. But now they look like they'll limp into the eight. They've still got a bye as well, so you know, 2 games and a bye, like they're going to make the eight. Dragons, yeah, season was a write-off a long time ago. Tigers up against Warriors. Look, the last couple of weeks, the Tigers took it to the Raiders. The Tigers are now taking the Warriors. So the Warriors did put it to bed. Lots of stuff went against the Tigers. Like the Tigers could have got this, and I think they're going to worry a couple of teams over the next few weeks. Obviously, Warriors securing their well, they haven't secured it yet, but you know they're going to finish top four. Like they did enough to get the job done. But yeah, the Tigers really worried them. It was only till what, probably like the last 10 minutes, like probably Adam Fanua Blake's try in the last like 4 minutes has probably sealed it. Got a late try from Starpatoa. It was just too far to go. But good signs from the Tigers. It's terrible to see that now Brooksy and Laurie are playing really well together, and they're both leaving next year. So fantastic. Ah, the late game Saturday now. Roosters versus Dolphins. Just the Roosters. It must win game. They can still make the eight. whether they will, look. I said they were going to make the grand final at the start of the year. So if they make the eight, and then imagine if the Roosters just started playing just phenomenally and just steamrolled everyone and made the grand final. Like that would be the probably one of the biggest comebacks of all time. Whether that's going to happen, like I mean, they beat the Dolphins. Dolphins have been playing above their weight all season. Yeah, like look, it was an entertaining match. But yeah, like Roosters just Dolphins couldn't make can't make the eight. Roosters can. Teddy played well. Bit from Joey Manu. Yeah, I think the forwards of the Roosters actually got the better of the Dolphins there. On to Sunday now. The Storm, big win over the Raiders. That's a massive worry for the Raiders. Like trying to get a top four finish, and that's what you put up. Um, yeah, the Storm absolutely on, and this is a Storm that I feel like the Storm is sort of been playing like Cam Munster has been playing sort of all year, just doing enough, just sort of like just jogging, just idling, and now we're sort of coming to the business season. Are we going to see the Storm of old? Like it'd be fantastic, but yeah, Raiders, wow, absolutely terrible. Should I mean they looked a bit shaky against the Tigers the week before, and then the Storms just absolutely pumped them. They're going to go out in straight sets in the finals. Who knows? It doesn't look good for the Raiders. Maybe they can turn around next week. Never write off a Ricky Stewart team. That's what I always say. Last game of the round, the Knights gave the Bulldogs another touch up. That's the second one for the season. Yeah, bit concerning with Jacko Hastings going down. Looked like he'd done exactly the same injury as he did last year when he played for the Tigers, a hip drop. But apparently he's 50-50 whether he's going to play. The Knights need him. Like he's brought something the Knights absolutely needed this year, and being part of that spine has just been instrumental for the Knights, and they just need to keep humming along. What's that, six or seven in a row now? Like, wow. Like 2 months ago, the coach was packing his bag. They were, looking around for coaches behind his back. And then, now they're playing like this. So, geez, moving Ponga back to fullback. What a great idea. Like, should never have moved to 5'8" in the first place. Um, but yeah, I mean, look, I guess they had to try something because whatever they were doing before that wasn't working. So, good to see their spine sort of humming. And yeah, Jacko Hastings is absolutely essential. Um, yeah, I was going to talk about the NRLW game that I watched on the weekend, but I pretty much covered it in what I said around like, my new favorite player is sort of the hooker for the West Tigers. Um, Ebony Boyle, I believe her name is. Just gonna fact check that while we're on here. Yeah, just it was a back and forth game. It was just really entertaining to watch, and I really think just the skill set of the players is really really cool. Yeah, Ebony Pryor, dead set, great player. Yeah, some of the players on the Tigers really excite me. Rakia Horn, I'm probably saying that wrong. She's really good as well. The prop Sarah Hogatuki, wow, she has strength and footwork. Kezzy Apps, absolute, just a boss. Yeah, I think the Tigers are going to go well this season in the NRLW. There's you can see a lot of like players that just really really stand out. Some that I named there, like on the Cowboys, Kira Dibb, she's an absolute talent. Emma Manzelman, the hooker for the Cowboys as well. She is just she's just solid as really really good. Once again, like really good supply out of dummy half, like crisp passing, no silly passes. Yeah. I feel like I'm going to get a bit more into NRLW this season, and I think everyone should. I think where the game's going, like as I said at the top of the thing, everyone's jumping on the Matildas bandwagon. I think everyone needs to get on NRLW bandwagon, and not even just a bandwagon, just stay there. Like entertaining game to watch. The rules, everything. Like I think the amount of games played is going to increase. I think the amount of teams is going to increase. I think the competition is going to grow very, very quickly. And yeah, I think they can run simultaneously along with the NRL. Anyway, talked enough. That's the debrief of the weekend. I'll put another video up this week with my NRL tips, which is your favorite video. And if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram at Say Less Footy Podcast. Follow us on TikTok, Say Less Footy Pod. Give us a subscribe. Like this video. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. Peace out.